A powerful Iran-aligned militia in Iraq is now openly calling for war. Kata'ib Hezbollah says it is ready to fight in defense of Iran and is urging resistance fighters worldwide to prepare for a comprehensive conflict. The warning comes as tensions spike between Tehran and Washington following fresh U.S. military threats. Late Sunday night, Iraq's Kata'ib Hezbollah released a statement that reads less like a warning and more like a mobilization order. The Iran-aligned armed group declared its readiness to enter any future war in defense of the Islamic Republic. Its message was aimed not just at regional actors, but at what it called resistance fighters across the world. In the statement, Kata'ib Hezbollah urged those willing to confront what it described as the front of disbelief and hypocrisy to prepare for a comprehensive war. The group portrayed Iran as a fortress for the Muslim world, a state it said has supported the oppressed for more than 4 decades, regardless of sect, race, or nationality. The language quickly turned confrontational. The militia accused Iran's enemies, naming Israel, of seeking to subjugate or destroy the country. According to the statement, these forces aim not only to weaken Iran, but to undermine moral and religious values across the region and beyond. The warning to Iran's adversaries was explicit. The group said any war against the Islamic Republic would not be easy, promising sudden and overwhelming consequences. The statement claimed Iran's enemies would be erased, declaring bluntly, "Nothing of you will remain in our region." The statement even referenced the possibility of so-called martyrdom operations, signaling a willingness to escalate beyond conventional warfare. The timing is critical. The statement was issued amid rising tensions between Iran and the United States after President Donald Trump threatened military action against Tehran.
The Middle East is holding its breath. As a U.S. aircraft carrier strike group steams toward the region, Iran is sending an unmistakable warning to Washington. Any attack will be treated as all-out war. A senior Iranian official, speaking on condition of anonymity with Reuters, says Tehran is watching closely as American military assets move into position. The message is stark. There will be no room for interpretation this time. No shades of gray, no limits. According to the official, Iran hopes the growing U.S. military presence is not meant for confrontation, but hope, he says, does not equal trust. Iran's armed forces are now on high alert, preparing for what he calls the worst-case scenario. And the red line is clear. This time, the official says, any attack, limited, unlimited, surgical, kinetic, whatever they call it, will be treated as an all-out war against us. The response, he warns, would be severe, decisive, and meant to settle the conflict once and for all. The warning comes as U.S. President Donald Trump confirms that an American armada is heading toward Iran. While Trump says he hopes force will not be necessary, he renews sharp warnings to Tehran against killing protesters and against restarting its nuclear program. Iran, for its part, rejects intimidation. If American forces violate Iran's sovereignty or territorial integrity, the response will be immediate, the official says, though he stops short of revealing exactly how Tehran would retaliate. What he does make clear is Iran's mindset. A nation under constant military threat, he argues, has no choice but to ensure that every capability at its disposal can be used to push back and to restore balance against anyone who dares to strike. This is not the first time U.S. forces have surged into the Middle East during heightened tensions. Historically, Washington has described many of these deployments as defensive, but memories are fresh. Just last year, a similar buildup preceded U.S. strikes on Iran's nuclear program, a moment that pushed the region to the edge. Now, with warships approaching and rhetoric hardening, the stakes are higher than ever, because if the next move is misread, it may not be a warning shot. It may be war.
The skies over the Middle East fell suddenly silent. Late on Friday, major international airlines made an extraordinary decision, canceling dozens of flights to Israel and key Gulf destinations in a coordinated wave of suspensions. Routes to Tel Aviv vanished from departure boards. Flights to Saudi Arabia and the United Arab Emirates were grounded. For travelers across Europe and North America, plans collapsed overnight. KLM, Air France, British Airways, Lufthansa, Swiss International Airlines, names synonymous with global travel, all pulled back at once. Air Canada canceled 4 flights into Israel. United Airlines followed suit. Airlines rarely make such moves lightly. The financial cost is immense, the disruption enormous. Yet the decisions appeared synchronized, suggesting access to shared intelligence pointing to escalating danger. As planes stayed on the ground, a warning echoed from Ankara. Turkey's foreign minister cautioned that Israel is seeking an opportunity to strike Iran. His words landed as tensions between Israel and Iran intensified, not only through proxy conflicts, but through direct military confrontations that have pushed the region closer to the brink. At Ben Gurion Airport, the impact was immediate. All international operations were grounded until at least Friday morning, as per reports. Israel's flag carrier, El Al, suspended flights indefinitely. Even domestic air travel was halted. Israeli airspace, usually crowded and constant, appeared eerily empty. Passengers were left scrambling. One traveler flying from Amsterdam to Tel Aviv watched their KLM flight canceled, then rushed to book with El Al, only to see that option disappear as well. Across Europe, airlines extended suspensions through the weekend, cutting overnight routes and daytime services alike. Behind the scenes, the stakes are rising fast. The Israel-Iran rivalry has long played out in the shadows. Hamas in Gaza, Hezbollah in Lebanon, Israeli strikes on Iranian-linked targets across the region. But now, the conflict feels dangerously close to open escalation. This comes as in Washington, the rhetoric sharpened. U.S. President Donald Trump spoke of a massive fleet moving toward Iran, saying he hoped he would not need to use it.
We're watching Iran. We're watching Iran. You know, we have a lot of ships going that direction, just in case. We have a big flotilla going in that direction, and we'll see what happens. It's a big force. We have a big force going toward Iran. I'd rather not see anything happen, but we're watching them very closely. I stopped 837 hangings on Thursday. They would have been dead. Every one of them would have been hung. This is like from 1,000 years ago. This is an ancient culture. Very smart people, by the way, but it's an ancient culture. 837, mostly young men, were going to be hung on Thursday. And I said, if you hang those people, you're going to be hit harder than you've ever been hit. It'll make what we did to your Iran nuclear look like peanuts. And an hour before this horrible thing was going to take place, they canceled it. And they actually said they canceled it. They didn't postpone it. They canceled it. So that was a good sign. But we have an armada. We have a massive fleet heading in that direction. And maybe we won't have to use it. We'll see.
U.S. officials confirmed the USS Abraham Lincoln and guided missile destroyers were heading to the Middle East alongside potential new air defense systems to protect American bases. The situation remains fluid. Airlines say they are reassessing conditions hour by hour, but one thing is clear. When the world's biggest carriers ground their fleets at the same time, it is no longer business as usual. It is a warning.